Julian Edelman's comments on Mac Jones and the New England Patriots. And to an extent, he's right. Obviously, you're replacing or trying to replace the legend, 19 years, 6 championships, went to 9 Super Bowls. I mean, he was the man, Tom Brady was in New England. And Bill Belichick, as they were talking about, I don't know if you caught that part of it, our audience, they were talking about Bill Belichick never drafting quarterbacks in the first round. Mm-hmm. So Mac Jones, as a first round quarterback, has some pressure on him. And so I step back and I'm like, all right, is Mac Jones, does it fit him, right? First of all, is it the perfect situationally, like offensive line? Possibly. Skill position guys? Probably not. Probably not. Yep. Competition with Cam, 2 different types of schemes that they're going around. Probably not.
Good division.
Like all of those things, all of the on-field things I look at and I'm like, God, that doesn't really suit Mac Jones really well if he ends up playing right away. Mm-hmm. So let's go to the second criteria, the Baker Mayfield criteria. Does Mac Jones fit Boston? Like, is he the kind of quarterback that's going to be okay when the opposing team comes in? I heard this analogy today, BT. I was on a call with a buddy of mine from Boston. Mm-hmm. He said this: when I went to New York, following the Red Sox, and people and the Yankees fans were booing. They were like, "Boo, Red Sox!"
Yeah,
boo,
you're
Red
lucky
Sox.
if that's all they
Boo,
said or did.
But when the Yankees would come to Boston, right? The Yankees now go to Boston. They would say Derek Jeter has a STD, whatever. They would be more specific, but you know what I mean. Like it was like brutal, right? It was specific. It was gritty and grimy and mean and all those other things. And so I say to myself, does Mac Jones fit that? Is he that type of quarterback? And is his personality going to mesh with this, like, this massive fan base that is intense and mean and ugly? Does it fit? And I want to say no. So I want to agree with Julian Edelman. But then I look at what Mac Jones did at Alabama, where he was a baller, by the way, had one of the great college football seasons in the history of college football for a quarterback, and won a national championship for a gritty, tough, elite team down in Alabama, where, quite honestly, did it feel like he belonged? No, it didn't.
Not until he played.
Not until he played. and so I have to draw on his history as that and say, Julian Edelman might have a point, but I put my money on Mac Jones being the guy that can fit into Boston, despite not having the ideal situation around him.
Okay, there's a lot there. Here's what I take away from that. The whole Yankee Red Sox thing, it did flip at one point. The venom, and it was far more venomous, far nastier from Boston to the Yankees. Until the Red Sox won the World Series, like that was anger, that was despair, that was jealousy, that was everything, and it got ugly, right? First of all, I think that I look at Mac Jones and forget about actually you can encompass every quarterback drafted around 1. Does Trevor Lawrence, and again, it looks mean nothing to me, but does Trevor Lawrence...
I'm talking about feel.
No, I got you. Yeah. Does Trevor Lawrence feel like a Boston quarterback? To me, the answer is no.
No.
The long hair. No, he seems like a Southern quarterback,
Southern
right?
Boy, or a West Coast guy.
Or a West Coast kid. Does Zach Wilson feel that way with the headband that says, the bandana, anyone, anywhere, anytime? No, not really. Not really.
Corny.
Right? Mac Jones, to me... like the movie Good Will Hunting. Remember the bar that they used to go to?
Yes.
Like their bar. Yes. Not when they were up at Harvard, like their bar in Boston where they were running numbers in the back and the Irish Mafia and Lord knows what drugs they were selling back. I mean, that bar. Mac Jones is the blue-collar feel that if he was sitting at that bar after, punching the clock for 10 hours at the factory, he would have fit right in.
Yeah, he's throwing one back and being like, all right, what do we got?
Nice pint. And at the core, that's what Boston's about. Blue-collar commitment, and that's why Mac Jones will fit in.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because we get this, I don't know, there's a perception maybe that he's this clean-cut, white kid from the South, and he's going to go to Boston, and they're going to eat him alive. I don't see that. I don't see that
dude, if you can play at Alabama,
that's right. And
by
the
the way,
way,
anywhere in the world.
And grind through Alabama,
yes.
BT. I mean, we all know his story, and it got glossed over a lot, but, we were counted just briefly. He was there as a freshman, had the DUI guy, was derailing his career. Nick Saban almost kicked him off the team. He dedicated himself. Instead of going out with his friends, he started studying. Still sitting behind two quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, and just kept grinding and started being a pain in the ass in practice to the starters. He's the scout team guy. He's kicking the asses of the starters. He's bristling with Saban, who's getting mad because he's doing all these things. And then ultimately he gets his chance. And what does he do? He wins a national championship, man. To me, that's grit. Right? And something we talk about, books have now been being written about grit. That's Mac Jones to me. It's why I was so high on him going into this draft. And it was interesting, too, because he was asked about his fall, like where he fell down to. Yeah. Because everybody thought he was going at 3. You and I believed he belonged right where he is. Yeah.
We never took the bait on that.
No,
not once.
So I mean, maybe we took the Vegas bet on that.
Oh yeah.
But by the way, just as an aside,
yes,
the money flipped big time the day before the draft.
Yes, it did.
Hugely the other way towards Trey Lance. So you kind of knew it was all smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
But to me, he said this, he fell to the right place in my mind. And I think Julian Edelman has a point about it's going to be tough on him. But if of all the quarterbacks, and you just ran through them, BT, Mac Jones is probably the best suited to go into Boston and try to succeed and try to replace a legend in Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, listen, his work ethic, his approach to me will immediately ingratiate himself to his teammates, to his coaching staff, by extension, the city. And as Edelman, listen, it's a pretty poignant cut because Edelman's been there a long time.
Yep.
An underdog in some ways, like Mac Jones. He's not Trevor Lawrence. He doesn't look like that. He doesn't have the best body. Didn't have the best combine in terms of that the memes that were out there. He's got a lot to prove. But as Edelman was running through the championship DNA of the history and the city of Boston, every team, Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins, even back in the day, Boston College used to be really good, basketball, Dana Barros, and hockey's great out there, Harvard, and then the Beanpot class. I mean, they got everything going out there. This young man just won and played at Alabama. He is not going to be overwhelmed. Now, is the talent commensurate with the draft slot? I could argue, I don't know if I would have taken him there. I'm kind of on the record with that. But he's got a chance to prove dissenters, maybe like myself, wrong. Yeah. It will not be because of a lack of intelligence, passion, commitment, or thoroughness with his craft. And that's what Boston fans want at the outset. If you give them that, then they will give you some wiggle room to go through some growing pains. They're smart.
Agreed.
Okay, good stuff.